This is Ara Ara News. Last week, here in New York, we had New York Comic Con. While it was a little bit underwhelming, a lot of actors couldn't make it, or they weren't allowed to talk about their works because, the strike. But there, we still have really good news. So without further ado, this is Ara Ara News, where the news are not related by blood. And we start with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and Netflix. Adding to the goodwill that they got from the mega success that was the One Piece live adaptation, Netflix showed off the anime adaptation of Scott Pilgrim, throwing all the bells at it. With all the movie actors coming back to voice their characters, having Science Saru being in charge of the animation, and knowing how Science Saru is perfect studio for this. I mean, they are balls to the wall. Have you seen Aizoken? Devil Cry Baby, while being really good at doing serious stuff like what they did with Japan Sinks, Scott Pilgrim Takes Off will not only be an adaptation of the original comic, which would have been just fine, but they promised to expand it, making the November 17 debut something really to look forward to. Because Comic-Con is not about comics anymore? What? Comic content at New York Comic Con? Unheard of. Toei decided to show off Dragon Ball Daima, a ripoff from the unjustified hated Dragon Ball GT. And whomever can say that Super Saiyan 4 is not the best Super Saiyan transformation is lying to themselves.
Yet another transformation.
Daima is 100% canon, being a creation straight from Akira Toriyama. And the only things that we know so far is the Z Warriors are gonna get de-aged by something evil, hence the name Daima, which in the New York Comic Con panel, Akira Toriyama said that it was a play of words on the kanjis from demon and magic. Aside of this, nothing else was revealed, other than it's supposed to come on fall of 2024. Five Nights at Freddy had a panel too.
It's too late. He's coming.
While we won't have to wait long for it to see it, it was great hearing that it will mostly stick to the story or the canon behind the first game, and a little bit from further games, but just mostly the first game. It looks like Five Nights at Freddy will be a straightforward scary movie. Something that was there, but very quietly, was a new Digimon movie coming out this November, featuring the second batch of Digidestined, Daisuke, Ken, and the rest of the gang, meet with someone that claims that they were the first Digidestined.
You have to try and see.
The movie will feature my favorite roster of Digimons ever, the ones from Zero 2. This movie feels like a return to basics. Did you get any of the early access Demon Slayer's Crocs? No? Good, you are somewhat sane. But if you're still hell-bent in getting a pair of Crocs, sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. If you still want a pair of those things, worry not, because Foot Locker will be selling it exclusively very soon. And lastly, the biggest news is that Crunchyroll will have a 24 hours channel. Why? I don't know. I mean, why would you need a channel from the place that literally is about having access to whatever you want, whenever you want it? Though with liners like Arifureta and the most rom-com, Horimiya. How can you pass it? Though they will air to your eternity, so it's not a loss. And now, quick round. Final Fantasy Mogul is getting a new figure, around $60, and it will have an early release next year. New Asuka and Rei figures are coming, because there is not enough Eva merch. And I'm not being sarcastic. Good Smile announced these two Nandroids for a release about Q4 in the US and only $34. Crunchyroll announced that, of course, they will have Kaiju number 8 as a simulcast. The first season will air on April the next year. Bocce the Rock is getting not one, but 2 movies that look like they will be really long recaps. Do with that information what you will. The new Miyazaki movie is meant to not have any promotion, yet it's still making so many news. How can it not when you can see all the actors that are gonna be part of the English dub? You have Christian Bale, Dave Bautista, Willem Dafoe, Kenneth Fukihara, freaking Mark Hamill, Robert Pattinson. It looks like Studio Ghibli is going the Taylor Swift route and just letting the popularity run the press.
お待ちしておりましたぞ。
And this has been Ara Ara News. Hope to see you next week.